Thank you for watching our video. Please give us a big like, subscribe to our channel for new videos every day with amazing cars. Leave us your opinion in the comment section on the video. Thank you. 10. Death Race, 2008. In an alternate future, the U.S. economy collapses, causing unemployment to skyrocket, and crime to rise. This leads to more prisoners in the system, and privatized prisons for profit. One prison has a pay-per-view broadcast of a gladiator-style game called Death Race where prisoners in Mad Max-looking cars drive around a racetrack trying to murder one another and come in first. Should a racer win 5 races, he will be granted freedom. Jason Statham is framed for his wife's murder and ends up in this prison, where he is given the chance to take on the persona of a popular racer who seemingly died in the last race. The racer had won 4 races already, so all he needs to do is win 1 more. The story is dumb, the acting non-existent, but the action and spectacle of it all more than makes up for the film's flaws. A great popcorn film if ever there was one. 9. Vanishing Point, 1971. The 1971 film Vanishing Point is pretty much one giant car chase on film. Car delivery driver Kowalski makes a bet that he can get his next delivery, a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT440 Magnum, from Denver, Colorado to San Francisco by 3 p.m. the following day. Having to drive exactly 1,000 miles in that short amount of time, Kowalski puts the pedal to the metal and roars off. With the supply of Benzedrine pills to keep him awake, Kowalski leads police on a crazy multi-state chase. A blind DJ named Super Soul takes interest, and encourages him to evade police, and his attention causes others to take interest and Kowalski ends up with fans offering support. The film's ending needs to be seen to do it justice, but rest assured, it will not disappoint. 8. The Hitchhiker, 1953. Before the Michael Mann thriller Collateral, there was The Hitchhiker. One of the all-time great film noir, this 1953 thriller was directed by Ida Lupino. Based on the true story of psychopathic murderer Billy Cook, The Hitchhiker is a gripping film. The opening line "This is the true story of a man and a gun and a car. The gun belonged to the man. The car might have been yours. Will grab your attention and refuse to let go." 2 men on their way to Mexico for a fishing trip pick up a hitchhiker, who turns out to be a psychotic killer. Held hostage and forced to drive him to California, the killer taunts and toys with his hostages, and he tells them he will kill them once the trip is over. The film is claustrophobic and the tension is off the charts. If you haven't seen this film, go and watch it, you won't regret it. 7. Gone in 60 Seconds, 2000. This remake of the 1974 original does everything right. The original was one of the strangest films ever made, with stitched-together scenes of cars and stunts directed by stuntman H.P. Halicki. The remake is slick and smooth with an all-star cast. Nicolas Cage plays a master thief who needs to steal 50 cars in 96 minutes, or his brother will be killed. Gathering together a team of thieves, he sets off on his mission. In typical Jerry Bruckheimer fashion, the set pieces are ludicrous and the action is eye-popping. The final chase scene alone is worth the price of admission, as Cage roars around in a '67 Ford Shelby GT 500, with what looks like every cop in the city chasing him. At one point a car gets flung through a wall by a rogue wrecking ball, adding some crazy to the mix. 6. Days of Thunder, 1990. Days of Thunder follows the story of cult trickle Tom Cruise, as he tries to become a champion NASCAR driver. From his start as a rookie, to his training, to eventually winning a race, the story will keep you engaged. The rivalry between Cole and fellow racer Rowdy Burns, Michael Rooker, intensifies throughout the film, eventually leading to disaster. The story was written by Tom Cruise and Robert Towne, and is a typical Tom Cruise film. This leads to an entertaining, although predictable film with plenty of flashy scenes to keep you hooked. The characters are one-dimensional, the plot is as stock as a car rolling off the assembly line, and the acting is okay, but it all adds up to a fun car film that can be watched again and again. 5. Rush, 2013. Ron Howard's biopic about the rivalry between Formula One racers Niki Lauda, Daniel Bruhl, and James Hunt, Chris Hemsworth, is a wonderful film, but for some reason was overlooked by audiences. The two leads are excellent, and they keep this rather predictable story of obsessive competition grounded. As the rivalry between the two, one a nerd and the other an easygoing hedonist, develops, the film gives us big, over-the-top, crazy sequences that beautifully show the danger and allure of racing. You will want to look away, but you won't, and when it's over you will want more. Howard does a fantastic job bringing this true story to life, and after watching it once you will want to add it to your collection. 4. Christine, 1983. This classic is an adaptation of the Stephen King novel of the same name. Christine follows the story of Arnold Darnay Cunningham, as he races towards a 1957 Plymouth Fury, only not everything is as it seems. As Arnie works on the car, he starts changing, becoming more aggressive. At first it seems like maybe he's just becoming arrogant due to the cool car he now has, but it turns out it's the car itself. As time goes on the car becomes sentient, and starts killing. Stephen King's twisted story about a murderous car is enhanced by both John Carpenter's directing style and his creepy music score. Other films have tried to pull off the possessed car concept, but none execute as perfectly as Christine. 3. Drive, 2011. When Drive was released, not everyone knew what to expect. From the trailers it looked like a high-octane action film, instead it was a slow-burning thriller. The film follows a nameless driver, Ryan Gosling, as he leads a double life. On one hand he's a stunt driver and part-time mechanic, on the other he offers his services as a getaway driver with specific rules. His life is thrown into chaos when he takes a job to help a girl, and gets in way over his head. This movie is a cinematic beauty. The soundtrack is engrossing, the cinematography is gorgeous, and the story, while simple, is expertly told and will keep you on the edge of your seat. Critics love it, and audiences didn't quite understand it, but Drive is one of the greatest car films of all time. 2. Mad Max, Fury Road, 2015. The Mad Max films have always been over the top, with wacky villains and insane cars, and Fury Road follows in the footsteps of its predecessors. The film follows the story of Imperator Furiosa, Charlize Theron, as she tries to save herself and a group of female slaves, and Max, Tom Hardy, who was in the wrong place at the wrong time. As they race along the dystopian landscape that was once Australia in a tractor-trailer covered in spikes and weapons, they contend with the warlord chasing them and his troops. The visuals are as gorgeous as they are violent, with explosions and bullets around every corner. The vehicles are so loaded with weapons and spikes that any one of them would probably get you through a zombie apocalypse with ease. The pinnacle of the film's over-the-top antics in the giant rolling sound system, speakers on top of speakers making a pyramid, with a crazed guy hanging from bungee cords, playing a flaming guitar. This film is awesome. 1. Fast and the Furious 7, 2015. The latest entry in the Fast and Furious leaves no holds barred, and steps into the realm of the absurd. This may sound like a bad thing, it's not. Every second of this crazy ride will keep you glued to the screen. As each new film in the franchise gets released, the bar gets raised in an effort to outdo the other, leaving us with this awesome film. No longer is the street racing crew racing cars, instead they are taking on an ex-CIA assassin and a band of mercenaries. The car stunts are impossible, the fight scenes over the top, and at one point they fling a $4 million Lighton Hypersport out the window a tower in Dubai. The film holds the record for the fastest film to gross over $1 billion, and is the third highest grossing film of 2015, behind Avengers, Age of Ultron and Jurassic World. Thank you for watching our video. Please give us a big like, subscribe to our channel for new videos every day with amazing cars. Leave us your opinion in the comment section on the video. Thank you.